I'm Sam, teaching for Newport Live in a number of your different facilities, and I'm going to do a little session for you today that you can do at home. It's going to be around about 15 minutes, nice and floor based for you, should be accessible for anybody here, and I'll give you a few ideas for props as well that you can use at home. But we're going to be coming into some twists. Twists are really great for the spine, also really good for detoxing, for really helping to kind of flush the body through. Okay, so we're going to come down to our mats. If you've got a mat at home, or you can just use a blanket, we're going to come down to semi-supine, so lying on our backs, feet on the floor. And you can close your eyes here or just soften the gaze. This is just an opportunity to prepare for your practice today, just to almost arrive, if you like. So just start to take the focus inwards to that internal environment. Feeling, sensing the body on the ground. So feel the weight of the body. And see if you can make the body a little bit heavier here, sinking down into the ground at home. Releasing any tension. And letting go of anything you're holding on to here. It's also a good opportunity to let go of anything that's on your mind at the moment, any worries, any plans that you have after doing this practice. Just dedicate this time for yourself, this 15 minutes. Focus the attention on the breath here. We're not trying to change the breath, we're just observing the breath into the body. Just a few more like this. And then we're going to bring a bit of movement in, so you don't have to cram your head to look at the TV or the screen. Just from here we're going to start to drop the knees down, so take a nice inhale in the centre where you're at, and then as you exhale just slowly dropping the knees down to one side. And then as you next inhale, drawing them back up to centre. And go into the other side, so we're just moving side to side. Keep the eyes closed or soften the gaze. So this just warms into the hips and the waist, ready for some twists. It's a really good way to release the back as well if you've got tension in the lower back. And try and home in on the muscles that are working, try and really activate the muscles to draw the knees back up. Try and press the lower back into the ground. And if you wanted to make this a little bit stronger, if you wanted to start to work the abdominals, you could just lift the feet off the ground. Keep the back pressed into the ground. And you're just using a little bit more engagement. Just do a few more like that. then when you've done an even number, coming back to center. And then we're going to cross the left leg over the right. We want a really snug cross here, so that almost like you're squeezing the thighs together, so we're not kind of having a gap here. We want it to be nice and snug. And we're just going to carry on with that movement for a few rounds. So dropping the knees down again as you exhale, down to one side. So we're working a lot more deeply into the hip flexors, the psoas muscles, feeling more of a stretch. Just working side to side again. Just at your breath pace. And notice as you move which stretch is better, which one feels better for your body, which side. And then when you next come to that side, just take a pause, just holding and softening, just releasing any tension that you're holding on that side. We don't have to be on the same side here, so it's wherever felt good for your body. And just 2 more breaths. And then back to center. And just changing the cross then, so we're working to the other side. So again, making that snug cross with the thighs and slowly dropping from side to side. Seeing how it feels on this side of your body. These are great stretches and great moves to make if you have kind of spent quite a lot of time sitting down for the day. Back is feeling a little bit stiff, the hips are feeling stiff. It's a great one to do. And just a few more like this. Noticing again which side feels good for you on this leg to hold for a stretch. And then when you next come to that side, holding for a couple of breaths. We're looking to soften the kind of strong sensation that you get when you hold. So try and reduce the sensation, try and release that tension. And 2 more breaths. Back to center and bringing the feet back down. So back to that start position. So we're going to come from here, we're going to come up into cat-cow. So just finding tabletop position, taking the knees underneath the hips, hands under the shoulders, and we want to really engage the hands. You want to really press the ground away here, feel like you're lifting the shoulders out of the ground. And then we're going to take the gaze forwards, the chin forwards, lift the tail, and we're dropping the belly here on the inhale. And then as you exhale, you're really hooking that pelvis under, really pressing that spine towards the ceiling. So a few rounds like this, just releasing the spine further. You want to go at your own tempo here, your own pace. And try and keep some space across the shoulders, try and keep drawing the shoulders kind of apart if you like. And just do 2 more like this. And then when you've done those two, just coming back to neutral, we're just going to tuck the toes. We're going to send the weight back into down dog. So pressing the hips back, pressing away from the hands, so we've got a nice long spine. And you can bend the legs here. It's not about kind of getting the heels to the floor, it's more about moving away from those hands. So this is a strong stretch for the back of the legs, so you can just slowly ease into it, bending one knee, pressing one heel down, and then slowly move into the other side. So we're just easing the backs of the legs out for a few rounds of breath. If you find yourself kind of over the hands, just bend the knees and push yourself back again. The legs can be as bent as you need here. And it's a really strong pose, down dog as well. It's working the whole back chain of the body, so all the way from the backs of the hands, all the way through the backs of the arms, shoulders, spine, down the back of the legs, and also down to the bottom of the feet, so Achilles involved. It's good for plantar fasciitis if you struggle with that. So just 2 more breaths here. And then bringing the knees down. When you've done that, at any point you can obviously pause the video and take a rest. It's your home, your time. But we're going to come into a twist now, so Marachyasana Twist. Now if I had a blanket with me, I would probably just place a blanket underneath the hips. You can use as much height as you need to here. So we're looking, when we come into this twist, we're looking to have the pelvis forwards. Don't want to kind of find yourself sitting like this, because we're not able to twist through the thoracic spine. There's not a lot of rotation there, so we want to flick the hips forward, so you can use as much height as you need to be able to do that. And then from here we're just going to start to lengthen the spine out of the hips. So you really want to lift the spine up, find a nice long spine, engage the legs and press backs of the knees, backs of the thighs into the ground. So it's quite a strong pose in itself just to sit like this in Dandasana. This is sage pose. Staff pose even. So we're really lifting up, lifting the spine. It's a great one to practice if you find that you have issues with posture, or if you struggle holding this pose. But we're going to draw the left leg in here. We're going to bring the foot down to the ground, and we're going to keep that lift that we just made there, seated, lifting above the knee. Plant the foot. It can come wherever you like, it doesn't have to be that close, wherever's comfortable. Engage in the ground leg, and we're taking the opposite arm around that knee, so left knee, right arm, and then we're going to take the left arm behind, coming round into a twist. So drawing the chest through the knee, but keeping that length in the spine, not kind of leaning back here. So keep the length in the spine. We're going to hold for a few breaths here, so maybe you close the eyes, maybe lower the gaze. Try not to take the neck all the way around. We want to keep the head nice and neutral. So we're drawing ourselves with that left shoulder back, drawing ourselves round towards that knee. And holding for a few breaths. And you can repeat this little practice a few times. And you can hold this as long as you like. But we'll release now. Coming back to center, and you can take it a little bit deeper, just crossing that left foot over the leg, so it's making a little bit of a deeper stretch into that hip. Taking the same arm around, and then going round again, same direction, but round to the left. Drawing yourself back with that left shoulder. Breathe in nice and smooth, try not to hold your breath. Keep feeling the breath down into the body. Maybe feel you can inhale, lift and lengthen that spine, and as you exhale, you can soften around to that left hand side. holding here for a few breaths. And then slowly coming back to center. And then we would come to the other side. So I'll just turn so that I'm still facing you. So again, back to that Tandasana, back to length, lifting the body up, out of that pose. And then bringing in the right knee, so going in the other direction, take the left elbow around the knee, or it can be wrist, depending on where you're at. Lift the body up. Take the hand round to the back of you, drawing yourself around to the right hand side. Settle into the breath now on this side. Keep edging yourself around. If at any point you start to lose that length in the spine, losing that lift, just come back a bit. And then slowly coming back to center. Always staying at this stage if that was enough for you, or you can take it into deeper stretch. So drawing that knee towards you again if you're taking it deeper, or staying at that first stage, drawing yourself around. Last twist. Breaths here, lifting up out of the seat bones, out of your hips, and softening round. 2 more breaths. And then slowly making your way back. So there's a selection of twists that you can do for a short practice, just to really ease out the spine and ease out any kinks and issues you've got. But keep practicing, stay safe, and hope to see you again. Namaste.